What is going on, survivors? Today we're going to talk about how to tame the Basilosaurus, the small little sea whale that we see oftentimes hanging around with a bunch of mantas in the water. We're talking about where to find them, how to tame them, and their cool abilities, and we'll jump right into it with where to find them and how to tame them. You're going to need some sort of meat to tame these guys. Probably, if you're looking for kibble, it's going to be the exceptional kibble, but usually you want to use the best style meat that you possibly can. It's going to make the taming a lot quicker and give you better taming effectiveness. You're probably going to want some scuba gear, probably some sort of gun that's going to shoot underwater. I'd recommend a crossbow because it's good, it's cheap with a lot of arrows. Not for the Bassie, but for all the things that follow the Bassie around. So let's get into it. Alright, so Basilosauruses are obviously found in the water, and what we have here is one hanging out over here. So the problem with taming these guys, obviously you're going to have sharks in the water to take care of, but predominantly you're going to have to passive tame these guys, and it's a pain because of these manta rays that are going to hang out around it. So basically what I'm going to do from a safe distance is start pegging the manta rays and pull them all off and kill them one by one, so it's just the Bassie at the end. And that's pretty much how we're going to start this off. Once you pull one of these, most of them are going to come after you, and if you hit the Bassie, don't be too freaked out about it. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But mainly what you want to worry about is all these mantas that are coming after me. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Are they still coming? Yep, they're still coming. Oh, they're coming. Alright. Go up here and land. You're really just going to have to play this game back and forth. Shoot a couple, pull them back. They'll re-aggro back after you. But mainly, if they start to leave this Bassie alone, that's enough. It's a passive tame with meat, raw mutton, prime, whatever you got. The kibble of preference for these guys is the exceptional kibble. Oh god. The thing you want to pay attention with mantas is they're very good at shredding your armor, so letting them hit you down here could potentially break your scuba gear very quickly. So I highly suggest getting rid of all the mantas and or taking a tame to maybe just like aggro them and then lure them off somewhere to give you plenty of time to come back here. I'm doing this on foot as we try to do all of it, so I'm gonna just do this the long way. So we'll come back after I get rid of all of these mantas. Alright, so it looks like we cleared all the mantas out here, so we got a couple dolphins just hanging around, but that's pretty much it. Obviously you want to watch for sharks too, but sharks are pretty easy to outrun in the water. The mantas are not. So this is pretty easy. You put the taming food in your last slot, you walk up to this guy, and you feed it. Doink doink, pretty much it. You'll see the little ink float around. He's pretty chill for the most part. And we're just going to saddle him up. So passive tame obviously is a low level, like a lot of these videos we do it on official settings. It's just the first Bassie I saw. It's low level, so it's just one hit tame with the exceptional kibble. Might have to do it more than one time, but the trick is just follow it around. I have noticed that wild Bassie or wild other mantas that aren't part of the group, if they wander close, might try to defend it if you're nearby. So definitely pay attention to that. And obviously other megalodons that are down here too, but those are pretty much the only threats you have to worry about. I would say tricks with this guy, obviously killing the mantas, and then make sure you already have the saddle with you so you can just slap the saddle on and ride away, because this guy can outrun most things that are going to cause any sort of real big threat to it. Once they're tamed, the Bassies actually have a lot of different uses. They're actually pretty tough, a lot tougher than you might think. Same level equivalent of like megalodons, of a megalodon, you're going to kill megalodons fairly easily. So, and if you level these guys up appropriately, they can take out alphas and a lot of other bigger, like a big nastier stuff out here in the ocean. They have a few different abilities, one of which makes them immune to the stings of jellyfish. So jellyfish will do a little bit of damage to them, but the sting effect won't actually apply. Same thing with eels. Eels won't hurt them either, which makes these guys great for picking up biotoxin to make for like your shock and tranquilizer darts because you're not impaired by them. They also negate the effects of being grabbed by the squid. So if you're looking to try to tame squids, having some Bassies around or to kill them off, Bassies are usually a pretty good way to go about that. Making Bassies really good with cave exploration underwater, just any sort of sea life in general. They're a really good animal to have for that because of the immunity to all these pesky critters that float around. They're pretty amazing. They move fairly quick, and they have a pretty good health pool for the size that they are too. And the nice ability about these guys is that they regenerate their health very, very quickly. The other thing to note is that they passively produce oil in their inventory that you can use. It's like, it just works just like normal oil, but it does expire. So pay attention to that part as well. A couple of drawbacks. Now, obviously it's reasonably fast, but in the deep water, it's not going to be that great. Stamina can be they're kind of a little bit of a stamina hog. When you get back to like really full sprinting out here, you can run through stamina really quick. So I'd highly recommend choosing stamina, probably some health, movement speed, stuff like that. Maybe not movement speed, I'm sorry, maybe a little bit of carry weight too, because their carry weight's actually pretty decent. I mean, this is a level 7, we're looking at 2,800 health already with a 700 carry weight, so they can be underwater harvesters, explorers for you, kind of a jack of all trades down here, but the ability to just ignore a lot of the really hazardous stuff down here is pretty effective. Things like the ammonites still affect them, so definitely watch that one. Basies are breedable. You can breed these guys. They are going to have a live birth, go through gestation, all that good stuff, and obviously saddle so I can ride it. Saddle is unlocked at level 60. You're going to make it out of smithy. Requires fiber, hide, metal to make. Pretty cut and dry. I like the Basie. I think as far as sea life goes, this is probably one of the most useful ones. Mainly because it's just sort of a jack of all trades. One of the drawbacks we wanted to talk about, I'm going to try to get down here a ways so we can really start seeing it happen. When you start to go too far down with the Basie, it will start to take health damage when it's like a crushing depth ability where it's not made to go really far down into the water. And you'll see it start making noise and have a certain animation, and the health will trickle down a bit. Now, the nice thing about this is because its health regeneration is so good, you could sit down here and like force feed it meat when you're down here, and it won't lose very much health very quickly at all. But it is something that you have to pay attention to. I'm trying to see if I can get down here far enough so where this starts happening to me. You do have to be pretty far down, so it's not like it happens when you're like 20 feet down. Like, you got to go pretty good ways for this to happen, but it will happen once you get far enough down. It's also not a harvester. I mean, it's going to pick up meat and stuff from killing creatures, but that's all it's going to get. That specific animation that's going on, and we can see the health start to trickle down a little bit. See, as you can see, it doesn't go down too fast because the health regeneration on this critter is so high, it's almost not even worth mentioning. The problem with this, obviously, is it's going to be hard for you to regenerate health when you're low and deep in the water and low trying to fight stuff. So if you're killing something low and if you're killing something down below the water, very deep below the water, you're going to want to resurface pretty quickly before you start healing yourself up. But once you get off of that seafloor, which, like I said, is clearly pretty deep, right? These guys don't, it's not like it's super shallow water. Let me go back to its inventory. Its health is already shooting back up. Its health regen goes up really quickly, so you can recover from these crushing depths very quickly with these guys. So it is a drawback, but it's not a huge drawback. And if you level up the health pretty considerably, it's really negligible, especially if you find a pretty good saddle form. You really don't have to worry about it too much. But that's the Basie, that's the cool abilities, pretty much it. I love these guys, I love them for just traveling in the water in general. If I'm making a water base or a water build or working with water creatures, Basie is always on the list. Fairly easy to tame, mainly because you could just do this with meat. And yeah, it can pretty much stand toe-to-toe with just about anything out with the right saddle. I've killed alphas with these guys, and squids, and mosas, and plesiosaurs, and makes exploring underwater cave systems, especially on the island, super easy because these guys are immune to a lot of the nasty stuff that's in there. Yeah, Basilosaurus. That is it, guys. That's Basilosaurus taming. Pretty quick and simple, but if you liked the video, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I will see you guys on the next video.